Even our King James Bible has been changed. This is about to blow your mind.
All right, let's see it.
Look at Ephesians 6 verse 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Right, so that's the King James. Now look what it says in the Geneva Bible. This one is from 1560. This is before the King James. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, and against the worldly governors, the princes of darkness of this world. And notice how it didn't use against again, which means the worldly governors are the princes of darkness of this world.
So this translation is problematic for a couple of reasons. To begin, the phrase "the princes" is in italics. That means it's not in the Greek. This is being supplied by the translators to try to help you make sense of the text. And they have tried to make sense of the text by understanding that phrase "of the darkness of this world" as an appositional phrase that is restating who the worldly governors are. But that doesn't really make much sense of the Greek, which just says we're fighting pros tus kosmokratoros tus skotus tutu, or against the kosmokrator, which would mean the cosmic rulers or the rulers of the world of the darkness of this world. In other words, the rulers over the darkness of this world. And as the text makes clear, this is not a reference to people. It's not a reference to flesh and blood. It is a reference to spiritual powers. It is a reference to malevolent divine influences. So the cosmic rulers of the darkness of this world are not flesh and blood. They are spiritual powers. These are the demons and other malevolent divine entities that Paul is always railing against.
And against spiritual wickedness, which are in the high places.
This is also problematic. One might misunderstand this to be referring to high earthly places like government offices and things like that. But the Greek there does not say high places, it says epuranios, which is the combination of the preposition epi and the noun uranos, which means heavens. In the heavens, the heavenly places. This is a reference to spiritual divine powers.
So not only are we in a spiritual battle, we're also being attacked by the worldly governors, the princes of darkness of this world.
Nope, that's literally just describing the spiritual battle.
If you research why he had it translated this way, was because certain things threatened his authority and his power.
So King James didn't really have much control over the translation itself. He helped put together these 15 rules that governed the translation, and they did prescribe certain terms be used, but that primarily had to do with using ecclesiastical terms over and against William Tyndale's preference for less ecclesiastical terminology. The main rule that King James used to try to exercise control over the anti-monarchic tenor of the translation was prohibit the use of explanatory notes in the margins, because the Geneva Bible was full of explanatory notes that frequently took an anti-monarchic tenor, the whole "we have no king but the Lord" kind of position. King James didn't like that, so said you cannot use explanatory notes except where the meaning of a word has to be clarified.
He also removed all 15 books of the Apocrypha, which are all in the Geneva Bible.
King James did absolutely no such thing whatsoever. This is 100% made up. The 1611 KJV was published with the Apocrypha, as were pretty much all editions over the next 200 plus years. In the 19th century, the British and Foreign Bible Society and the American Bible Society decided to start printing and distributing Bibles that did not have the Apocrypha to save money on printing, to make them easier to ship, to make them shorter. By the end of the 19th century, that practice would go from de facto to de jure, as Protestants decided that they just didn't want the Apocrypha anymore.
King James literally banned the Geneva Bible, and it was for a reason.
Yes, King James banned the printing of the Geneva Bible because he didn't like the anti-monarchic tenor of the Geneva Bible, and that was an authoritarian move, and it wouldn't go out of print until 1660. It remained more popular than the King James Version for many years, despite King James' machinations.
Let me know if you guys want a part 2 where I expose...
Nah, I'm good.